I So before we get back into this LSU team and or back into the conference, I kind of want to talk about what's returning or what is new on this Wake Forest team, because I would imagine that a lot of LSU fans will use that as the measuring test, and they will look at that team and what they're doing all season and who's on that team and how it's going for them. So what do they have returning, and what's new to that team that's supposed to that's putting them over the top right now?
I think it's a good question. I think with Wake Forest, if you're a Wake Forest believer, you would start and say, hey, that's the best rotation in the country. So the Hartle kid, the lefty with the cutter, is going to be a first-round pick. Michael Massey, the right-hander, he was their Sunday guy. I mean, it's like his swing and miss with the fastball is double the national average. And then Chase Burns is the third starter. So you'd say, okay, elite rotation. Then you'd say Nick Kurtz, the first baseman, is a Golden Spikes candidate, another first-round pick. And then the Seaver King kid, who is a Division II transfer, I get it, but he was arguably the best player on Team USA last summer. So I think Wake Forest depth is, I don't feel super comfortable with it, to be honest. I don't, maybe they are deep, but I just don't know who the players are. But the top end of their roster is really exceptional.
So I want to get back to Chase Burns. You mentioned he obviously transfers from Tennessee to Wake Forest. He had some electric moments at Tennessee early in the season as a starter, and they moved him out of the rotation to the closer role, and he excelled in that role. And I guess, I don't know the details of it, but I would assume that whenever they had their meetings at the end of the year and moving forward, they told him, hey, we like you more as a reliever. He wants to be a starter, puts his name in the portal, ends up at Wake Forest. Why do you think they felt he was better suited out the bullpen? Is it because he only had two elite pitches and not a third? Was it control issues? Like I said, you have a lot more experience scouting these guys than I do, as far as, you watch them a lot more. What do you think is the reason that Tennessee thought he was maybe a closer and not a starter?
Yeah, I don't know that Tennessee felt, and again, I'm speculating just like you would be, unfair for me to speak for Tony Vitello and Frank Anderson, but I think it's fun to speculate.
Yeah, right. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's what we're here for. It's make decisions that don't count. It's right. The best part. Yeah. So I would say, but to your point, like Burns was a two-pitch guy last year. And he was a two-pitch guy his freshman year. He's really the same guy. He's a good strike thrower. His walk percentage is 7%. 10% is the national average. His strikeout percentage is outrageous. It was 30% as a freshman, 38% last year, 20% is the average. So, the stuff is my guess on this is that Chase Burns, it wasn't about starter versus reliever. It was more, the Tennessee pitching program is more old school and obviously works.
Right.
The Wake Forest pitching program is super modern and obviously works. I just think that Chase Burns and his team, if you will, probably felt like, hey, we're doing fine, but we're not like making big jumps. We should maybe try something else, because there's big dollars on the line if you're Chase Burns.